Welcome to Grok Talks, where raw ideas become real conversations. Thanks for showing up. I used to think finding God meant finally getting the truth perfect, like slamming the last piece into some cosmic puzzle and hearing a click that meant you were done. No more questions, no more squinting, just pure arrival. And that idea sat on my chest like wet concrete. Because if perfect is the bar, every honest "I don't know yet" feels like failure. Curiosity starts looking dangerous. Better to pretend, right? Better to recite than to wonder. But that whole frame is backward. Finding God isn't about understanding truth perfectly. It's about letting curiosity drive you toward closer and clearer understandings of truth. Truth is like light, and if you cleave to the light you've got, even a stubborn little flicker, you'll receive more light until that light grows brighter and brighter till the perfect day. Hold that image a second. You're in a room so dark you can't see your own hands. Someone presses a single match into your palm. You strike it, tiny flame, trembling, almost nothing. You could sneer at how inadequate it is, blow it out in frustration, demand the full sun immediately. You could cup your hands around it, feed it whatever scrap of honesty you can find, an unanswered question, a line of scripture that won't leave you alone, a sudden kindness that feels bigger than the person who gave it, and that flame catches a candle, then a lantern, then the windows start to glow from the inside. That refulgence starts small and personal and somehow refuses to stay small. Curiosity is what keeps the match alive, not certainty. Certainty is overrated and often fake. Curiosity is the restless, what if I follow this beam just a little farther? It's the willingness to look ridiculous for a while, because the alternative is staying blind. I've spent years performing answers I only half believed because I thought doubt was disloyal. All it did was dim everything. The moment I let the questions lead, really lead, without forcing them to tidy conclusions, something shifted. The light didn't vanish, it multiplied. There's this fish that lives in the Mariana Trench, miles down where the pressure would crush a submarine and sunlight has never once arrived. Absolute black. And from its forehead dangles a thin rod with a glowing tip, like a living lantern. That light isn't the fish's own invention. It's bacteria living inside the lure. The anglerfish gives them a home, keeps the conditions right, and the bacteria respond by pouring out bioluminescence. They multiply in that welcomed space until the lure shines bright enough to draw entire meals out of the dark. In the deepest, most lightless place we know, radiance doesn't get forced into existence. It gets hosted. It multiplies because something said yes to the little glow. That's the move with truth and God. In the deep places where the questions feel crushing and perfect understanding is nowhere in sight, if you host the small light of real curiosity, cleave to it instead of snuffing it with shame or certainty theater, that refulgence starts pouring forth and multiplies. More light arrives. Clearer edges appear on things that used to be pure fog. Not because you earned the full day in one heroic leap, but because light recognizes light and wants to join it. Emily Dickinson understood this in her bones. She spent most of her life in one house in Amherst, Massachusetts, white dress, rooms full of paper, watching the actual light move across her floors and walls as the hours changed. She knew what too much brightness all at once could do to a person. There's a poem where she lays it out clean. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies. Too bright for our infirm delight, the truth's superb surprise. As lightning to the children eased with explanation kind, the truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. There sets the scene so you feel it. Full frontal perfect truth would just blind us, so it comes on the slant, in circuit, gradually. Curiosity is that circuit. You take the light you can actually stand without going blind. You stay with it. You walk the long way around, and it dazzles a little more each time. Dickinson's quiet watching of afternoon light becomes this fierce map for seeking God, not demanding the noonday sun on day one. Living inside the gradual dazzle until the refulgence builds into something you can finally walk in without shielding your eyes. Practically, this looks like refusing the pretend. When a question rises about suffering, about silence, about why the map keeps changing, you don't slap a slogan on it and call it settled. You hold it up to the light you already have and let it teach you the next inch. Maybe you write the question down and leave it on the table overnight. Maybe you take a walk and ask it out loud to the air like a slightly crazy person. Maybe you talk to someone who won't flinch. The point is cleaving. Stay with the real. Don't rush past the flicker just because it isn't yet a flood. I keep coming back to that first match in the dark room. Some days the flame feels laughably small. Some days wind kicks up and I almost lose it. But every time I've protected it instead of cursing it, more light has shown up. Not on my schedule, not in the shape I predicted, just more, clearer, brighter, like the difference between stumbling and actually seeing the floor. It's the same insight, different picture. You're climbing a mountain in thick fog. You can't see the summit. Perfect understanding would be that clear, top-of-the-world view. But curiosity is simply stepping toward the one pale patch of brightness you can make out. Each step, the fog thins a little more in that direction. You don't get the whole mountain at once. You get closer and closer, until one morning you realize the light has grown so full that the perfect day is already happening under your feet. Keep the match, welcome the next beam, cleave to whatever light is honest right now. The rest multiplies. You might have noticed I kept saying refulgence, refulgence. It means radiant brilliance that pours forth and multiplies when welcomed. That's the whole quiet invitation of seeking God. Welcome the little light of curiosity and let it grow until the perfect day.